CDs in the back too? Man, you're
I do. Yep, I've got all the CDs here. I've got ours. I've got Stone Whiskey, which I haven't opened yet.
nice. Brand new, that's why.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I've got the ZO2. I've got No Love Lost. I've got a little bit of everything here. It's crazy.
Yeah, John's got a nice collection. I'll tell you what. I have let me see. I have trying to think of all the ones that I just got from him. I got you guys, obviously.
Right.
Is it a ZO2? Is that what they're called?
ZO2, yeah.
ZO2. I got well, No Love Lost. I had Scott on a few months ago, man. What a great guy.
Yeah, I saw his interview with you, and that was fantastic.
Yeah, he's a really good interview. And I'm trying to think of who else I had on from John's label. I think that's it so far.
Really?
So you're number
Really?
2, man. Yeah.
I'm all right with that. I'm all right with that.
You gotta, you know what? You got to put number 1 in everybody's heart, though, right?
Well, you know, I'll roll with that too, for sure. For sure. Yeah, he was a great interview.
Yeah, he's a super nice guy too. I had him on. I think he was on the Van Halen show too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, that's right. He was.
So we try to do a little bit of everything. So I'll invite you to some of these too, man. It's always good to have artists come on and give their side of the story.
I'd love to. Thank you, for sure.
Well, first off, I want to say, you know, obviously the album's been out for a while, but I want to say congratulations on Envy, because it's an excellent listen all the way through, man. I really give you guys kudos. Excellent album. I
appreciate that. It's almost feel like it's never finished. You know what I mean? You get to that point where you have to finally say it's done, and then hopefully somebody saw the magic in it like we did and John did. So we're real thankful for that.
Yeah, what I like about it too is you know, it's a little bit, it's different in a lot of cases what other bands are doing, and that's what I like about it. And there's a uniqueness to it. You know, when I look at the list, I mean, obviously, you know, Back Where I Belong, I love. You know, I think that's a great song. Without You is one of my favorites.
Is it really?
It really is. It's a really good song. And listening through. Let's go look at some of the songs here. Sure. And you know, like I said, excellent album start to finish.
Thank you so much.
Let's talk about the you know, how all this came together with this album. I know obviously I talked to John a lot, and we're friends. I think he's a great guy. I love what he does.
Yeah.
You know, with his band. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the beginning of this album, and how all it came together to launch this.
So 2020, 2021, Reggie and I went into the studio to really just lay down a bunch of ideas, because we were writing like crazy and wanted to actually just put them down so we could have them, we didn't lose them. And as we started getting into the process, that we're putting them down on tape, and it's like, you know what, we might be onto something here. And not just us thinking that, but our engineer, Matt McKeown, thought the same thing. He said, these are special. These songs are special. And we didn't have any thoughts of putting a CD together. And then once we got 5 songs into it, it's like, maybe we should do an EP. And then it's 7 songs. We're like, hey, we're getting close to an album. Let's do it. Right. And then so once we decided to go ahead and do that, we had 12 songs. And we got with Matt Starr. You want me to go into that already? Matt Starr produced it.
Yeah, you could get into, we'll go right down. We'll make this a nice, easy conversation, man.
Sweet. That's great. So we got in touch with Matt Starr, and the way that happened was I wanted to up our logo, redo our logo, give it a freshener. And so I reached out to him through Facebook, because I like the stuff that he did with Ace Frehley. And I said, would you be interested in doing this? I never thought I'd get a call back or a text back or anything like that. Boom. He says, yeah, I'd love to. Nice. And so that was the start of that. And then he says, hey, you have any music that I can listen to, maybe to get an idea on the logo? I said, sure. So I sent him a song. He's like, love it. He says, who's producing? I said, well, we are. He said, I can do better. And he did better. He did so much better. So he and Alessandro Del Vecchio, they made this thing. They took it from a V6, a V8 to a rocket ship, and we're just couldn't be any happier with it. So that's kind of how this happened. It didn't start out like we're going to write a CD. It just happened that we wanted to get some stuff down on tape, so we didn't lose it. and then it transformed into here we are with Kibble, and now I'm talking to you. It's fantastic.
That's great to hear. And you mentioned Alessandro, and I had him on the show a few months ago.
Yeah.
That guy, like I said, he's one of those guys that could do everything.
Yeah.
Not only great vocalist, great producer, great, musician,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, dude. I saw him the other day, a video of him on one of the last things he did. And I knew he was good at everything he did, but I never really saw him belt out. And he was live on stage. I'm like, I'm giving up. I'm putting the mic down. He's fantastic. My
He is.
God, the soul.
He is. And he has such a passion for what he does too. And that's the thing I got right out of the interview. The guy really cares.
That's awesome.
And he puts it into everything. Just fantastic.
So
Fantastic.
cool. So cool.
That really is, and listening through this, John, I mean, like I said, I love the diversity of the album. There's not just, hey, we're gonna do this, this, and this. You could tell that you guys really put a lot of effort into this, and the songs are seamless. They're very well written.
Thank you.
Tell us about the writing of this album. And what you guys did to lay all this out, because I love it. I think it's a great album.
Well, thank you. So there are some songs that we had little ideas of back in the RainLord days, and up through we did a 20-year reunion with RainLord in was 2004, 2014.
Right.
And when Reggie and I were talking about doing that, we said we're not going to do it unless we have new music. So we wrote 2 new songs for that RainLord thing, and that's 2 of the songs that are on Envy. Because we didn't do anything with them. Back Where I Belong was one of them.
Right.
And If You Want Me, Come and Get Me. If You Want Me is the other one. It's basically Reggie and I, just a bunch of ideas that Reggie and I had, and we've tweaked them, put them in a ball, threw them around, and turned them into songs. And that's as easy as I can get it.
Obviously, the songs, like I said, are really tight, and the structure and everything. How about the recording process? Take us into, not so much. I don't even know if you guys even do the studio thing anymore, because I know everything's passed through the internet. Tell us about that recording process, because I'm always interested in, how bands do things nowadays.
We do go into the studio. We
Nice.
go in. Yeah, we go in with a good friend of ours, Matt McKeown. He owns a studio in Hollyhill, Florida,
Nice.
Sound Mind Studios, and we've been doing stuff with him for years. Feel very comfortable with him. He's a great musician. He's almost like he's our Alessandro, and we have him in the studio. He's just like him. Can sing, play guitar, drums, bass, you name it. He is like the I would say the 3rd member of this songwriting team for Envy, and maybe the 6th member of this band. Which is pretty cool to say. He's
Right.
that important. But yeah, we go into the studio, and Reggie and I we have an idea what we want to do. We go in, we lay down an idea. Even if we don't have all the lyrics, we just hum things. You'll get a melody line going, and then tweak the guitar, tweak the drums, blah blah blah, boom boom boom. There it is.
Well, that's nice when you can, go in and have that strength, and then have that piece and the production side of it too.
Yeah.
To make adjustments on the fly and whatever you need to do.
Right, and with Matt, because we have such a relationship with him, we're not under the gun. It's not like, you guys got 20 minutes left in this session, you got to go. It's like,
Right.
hey, we're all feeling this, and it just goes for however long it goes, and then when we're done, we're done. So I mean, the process, the song started. The first 2 songs for this were started back in 2014. But the real process of this started in 21. So it was, and we would do it when we could do it. We'd go into the studio whenever we could. So it seemed like a long process, but it really wasn't. It went like that. But we're very fortunate to be in a position we're in where we can write songs, bounce ideas off of each other with our phones, and then
Right.
go into the studio and knock it out. It's pretty cool.
So if you look back, I mean, I know obviously you guys do the studio thing with this. but obviously the passing back and forth, which a lot of bands do,
Right.
because logistically it's difficult. Is there a piece of that that you like better than another? Would you rather be in a studio? Would you rather, or a mix of both?
I
Tough
like this.
question.
Yeah, no, it's weird because that's a great question actually. Um, I like both. Reggie and I both like the building process. So that bouncing of ideas back and forth on the phone and then getting in the studio. I think that for me, I guess getting in the studio and actually doing it is
Right.
my favorite part.
It's great to hear, a band that gets into the studio
Yeah,
again, because so many of them right now, like I said, just pass back and forth. And
that's
to have
right.
that, you know, it's terrible to even say old style anymore, but
It
that's what
works,
it
right?
is. That's it. That's it.
But and I think there's an energy too that you get in the studio. I mean,
Right.
being in that room with each other, there's an energy there for sure that I don't want to say that people don't get it just by bouncing ideas back and forth, but there's just a different energy when you're in a room together creating.
Yeah, I could imagine because it's when you come up with that big idea, and it's that nice, and you feel that,
Oh
that
yeah,
urge, and there it is.
it's that look. When everybody just kind of goes like this,
Right.
you're onto something. And we're like everybody's onto it, and it's go time. Then it's so cool.
That's cool to have that energy to it. I always like to, ask artists, just to see, because that kind of reminds me of, like when I first hear a song,
Right.
the song that you love, and you're like, man, that's it. That's
It
it.
it gets you.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure. I get that.
I like I said, I talk to John a lot. We've been friends for, probably like 5 or 6 years now. Just never met him, but just talking on the, in messenger chat about different things, and and he's helped me with a lot of things that I do too, just having that, pedigree, and that, the being a label for 25 years now.
Right.
He's done an awful lot. What's it like working with John? I mean, I ask Scott, Scott loves it, because he has that. John has a knack for putting these things together, and I think
Yes.
that's a cool part about what he does.
I will say this about John. Just but let me go back a little bit. This whole process, the recording process, it usually would fall on me or Reggie to make all the decisions on, yeah, this is good, this song's good, production wise, it's good. When we let it go, we got to this point when we realized we were onto something. It was like, you know what, maybe we need to let this go, take it out of our hands and put it in somebody else's hands to produce.
Right.
And that's when, Matt's like, hey, I can do this. I'm like, here you go. And the same thing with John. When John says, here's my deal, I'm going to do your artwork. I'm gonna put the songs where they're gonna go on the CD, and that's just how it's gonna be. And I'm like, I'm fine with that.
Right.
And
Right.
what a cool turnout. So my dealings with John have been great from that point. He told me how it was going to be. He asked me what I wanted. I told him what I wanted. It matched. We had the same vision, and I think we have the same drive because I'm on go all of the time. So
Right.
whatever John's doing on his end for Envy, I'm doing something else on my end for Envy, and it's all it does is benefit all of us. But John, I love John. I just talked to him for 30 minutes last night. It was a fun
Nice.
conversation. It's like talking. I'm not talking to a boss or an employer. I'm talking to a friend, somebody who gets what I'm into, music wise, people wise.
Right. Right.
He's a good dude, and I'm so glad that it's funny. Do you know the story about 25 years ago? I sent him a CD from RainLord.
I do. I don't. That's a great story. Let's get into that.
All right, so 25 years ago, whatever, I sent him a CD from RainLord just because he was just starting out. I'm like, hey, maybe this guy will want to sign us and we can grow together.
Right.
And so I sent him a CD, mailed him a CD, and it just wasn't right. The songs weren't right. That nothing was. The timing wasn't right. And so here we go. 25 years later, I sent John a message, and I'm like, you know, are you accepting unsolicited material? He says, I'll take a listen. So I sent him, the first song I sent him was Back Where I Belong. And I don't want to cuss, but he said, I effing love this song. And, you know, I think I knew at that point, there was some validation from back then to now that he got it. And that was just one song. He says, based on this song, I'm interested in you guys. What else you got? So I would spoon feed him, and it wasn't. I just didn't want to let too many songs out.
Right.
So I gave him another one, and I gave him another one, and I gave him another one. By the fourth one, he's like, "Let's do it. Let's do it." So we did it, and could not be happier. I'm thrilled to pieces with everything we've done so far with him.
That's great because you know, looking at everything. I mean, the packaging, obviously, of the album and the booklet, you know, and the image of you guys, obviously, in the center and everything. I mean, it's just it screams professionalism. You know,
that's John.
That's it. That's it.
I will tell you this: I've given John kudos over the phone, on Facebook, wherever, that I've done numerous CDs on my own. I've done the artwork, I've done the song positioning, I've done all of that, and I've never had anything this nice. And it screams top tier.
Right.
And I can't thank him enough for doing that.
I totally agree. I love what he does. I tell him that all the time. It's great to, you know, when he has something new coming out, I'm like, all right, you know, let's get into this. Let's see what's happening here.
It's a big deal.
You know, when you start to write a song, John, you know, what's the idea behind it? Is it a riff? Does it start with a riff? Does it start with a chorus? Is it, you know, something, hey, I write it on acoustic guitar? Tell us about your songwriting process and how a Nickoloff song gets started.
So there are Mark McManus is the other guitar player in Nickoloff, and he and I have done a few CDs together. And usually the way it starts with Mark is Mark will come in and say, I've got this riff, or I have a song up to a chorus, or I have a riff and a chorus, and here's what I'm thinking. Reggie goes, I got this riff, and he'll do it. And I'm like, do it again, do it again. So it all starts with a riff, and then we start bouncing stuff off of each other. Nice. And then that's how it forms. It just builds and builds and builds. And usually what will happen is, because I'm a drummer as well, I wouldn't say that I'm a very good one, but I go in, Reggie and I will go in, or Mark and I will go in, and we'll actually put the skeleton to it. We'll get, you know, the whole song down, and then we'll build on top of it. But it all starts with a riff. All starts with a riff.
That's great to hear, because this is very riff driven.
Yep.
You know, when you listen to everything that's on this album. And what do you know, when you look at the entire album and you listen through, is it exactly what you were looking for? You know, after listening through, or is it one of those things where, man, we could do better because I'm an artist and I want to.
It's better. It's better. It's better. You know, we get to the point where we've done these songs in the studio and we've listened to them so many times that you're kind of jaded. You've heard it so many times. Right. It's like today I heard the new Def Leppard song. And it was cool because it's new, it's fresh. Now, I will say this, the first time that I heard Envy, because I didn't listen to it, after we sent it to John, I hadn't listened to the songs at all. First time I listened to it after sending it to John was when I received the CD in the mail. Okay. And it was so cool, so fresh. I'm like, yeah. And it's hard to believe that that's us. You know, you can, and that's a good thing, because we lose track that it's us, and it's like it's that good, right? That it shouldn't be us. You know what I mean? Like I listened
Right.
to the No Love Lost guys, and it was fresh, and I'm like, this is badass. The songs are great, the production's great, artwork's great, obviously,
Right.
and it was new to me. So I wonder, and maybe you can ask Scott, did they have that feeling? Did they get jaded by hearing and listening to their songs so many times? And then
Right.
the first time they were actually able to listen to the CD, did they get that same feeling? I'd be curious.
I'd imagine he probably did,
Yeah.
because listening to these two, these are actually two of my favorite, Kibble releases.
Oh, well, thank you.
Really, I mean, a lot of all the stuff that I hear is excellent, but there's a few that stand out,
Awesome.
and I think you guys did a fantastic job on this. I really do.
Thank you
I
so
really do.
much. Thank you.
You guys just did a few shows. I mean, I know you did, a couple shows. I've seen them on Facebook,
Right.
obviously, and tell us about the shows. I mean, what's that like being able to take this album out there to the fans and how do they react to it?
Okay. So we have been doing, just to get the band tight over the years, and to be able to maybe spit out an original here or spit out an original there. We've been doing a lot of cover shows. So we'll go in, we'll play a 3 set night, 4 hours. And here lately, since the release, we've been throwing in a full set of original songs. So we're
Nice.
playing everything off of Envy right at the beginning of the night. Now, there are clubs that don't want you to play your original songs for one reason or another, because they think that people don't know your music, you're gonna drive them away.
Right.
And I will tell you this, and this is not, I don't want to be braggadocious. I'm proud of our songs. Our songs, if you don't tell somebody that it's an original, they think it's somebody else's song. And we've not lost anybody from any of these shows when we start
Right.
out with originals. It's been fantastic. So it's an absolute thrill. It's a validation. And it's almost like and I don't want to be rude to club owners or venue people. It's almost like, we're sticking a finger in their eye saying, told
Right.
you, these
Right.
songs
Right.
are good,
Right.
just let it happen. So it's been a thrill. The response from the people is great. They dance, they rock, they bop their heads, they do everything. So everything that we wanted to do with these songs, it all happens at the live show.
See, that's great to hear because I feel the same way about that. I mean, I think that, eventually we need to start opening our eyes to original music. You know, you can only do so many classics. You can only, these classic bands aren't going to live forever.
That's right.
So who's going to take over it? And the clubs and the people, everybody that's listening, get out and support these guys because this is what it's about. This is the future. This is now. This is it.
Well, freaking Van Halen started out like this, right? I mean,
Right. Right.
we could be Van Halen. I mean, Bon Jovi started out like Kiss. So,
Right.
everybody starts somewhere. I mean, and I agree with you. The club owners and venue, they need to. Now it's starting to happen a little bit more here and there, but people need to open up and just let the bands do what they do. And it all works out like it's supposed to. Now, if your music is not great, your original music's not great, and you're driving people out, then the venue has something to complain about. But if you're playing original songs and nobody's leaving, shut up.
That's right.
You're
That's
good.
right. That's right.
So I don't know. Anyway, but it's been a thrill. People love the songs, and we're happy with that.
That's always great to hear, man. That's great to
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the start. Whenever you started, this whole thing as a musician back in the early days. Tell us about that. I mean, because it's always an adventure, but
Yeah.
it's always a great story to hear how the bands and how the artists come through because everybody's different. And
Yeah.
I'd love to talk about that and discuss that.
All right. So I went to a Catholic grade school, and I went to 1 year of Catholic high school in Indianapolis. And I wanted to be a priest when I was in grade school, believe it or not.
Wow,
And yeah, crazy.
I went to
Yeah.
Catholic grade school and 1 year of high school as well.
Did you really?
Yeah, I really did. Yeah.
No
Yep.
kidding. Did you want to be
Yeah.
a priest?
I didn't want. I didn't get into that, but that's a great story though. That is a
Yeah,
great
well,
story.
the priesthood went on pause so that I could be a baseball player. I wanted to play pro ball.
Me too. Are you kidding
Did you
me?
really?
I swear to God, yeah. I played
Dude,
semi-pro. Yeah, yeah,
did you?
yeah.
What was your position?
Shortstop.
I was shortstop and second base.
That's great.
We're twins.
That's it. I think that's it. Well, hey, that's why we're named John. That's why.
That's right. So anyway, so I want to play baseball. Baseball went on hold because guess what? Music. And so then we put a band together. My buddies Rob Cooper and Robert Amrine from St. Gabriel in St. Gabriel School in Indianapolis, and we were called, of all things, what did we call ourselves? We call ourselves Lust, I think. Coven, all these good Catholic boys with these crazy names.
Right, right.
And I think one of the first songs that we wrote, Robert Amrine wrote a song called "We're Gonna Step on You," and I'm like, I don't know that that's us, but what did we know?
Right.
So here we were. It was 1982. What, we were 13, 14, whatever. We were young.
Right.
But I've got a picture, and I'll send it to you. I've got a picture of the three of us. It's the first band picture that I ever took, and it's so cool to have that thing.
That is cool.
Yeah, it's so neat. But we played our first concert at Ritter High School in Indianapolis. We played the talent show, and we went on. We did 2 songs. We did, and the one that really stands out, I guess it's the only important one, at a Catholic high school, we played Kiss's "All Hell's Breaking Loose." Why wouldn't you play that at a
Why not?
Catholic
That's
high
it.
school?
It's
Come on. So yeah, we went over huge, man. We were just really something. But that's how it started with us 3 guys, and then we got another guitar player, Joey Adkins. He's still a good friend of mine, and he's in Indianapolis. He plays in bands. He's a big guy on originals, and I kind of follow his lead because he's been playing originals for years. When I was doing the cover thing hard. So I have a lot of respect for him he stuck to his guns on originals, and he's a hell of a guitar player and a good guy. But that's how it started for me, with a couple of guys from school.
That's really cool. And you're still in touch with some of them, and that's always great to hear.
I'm in touch with all of them. It's crazy. We stay in touch. We talk through Facebook. I don't talk to them as much on the phone as I'd like to, and maybe I need to change that. But it is neat to stay in touch with those guys from so long ago.
When you talk about that start, and you go back, in that time, obviously, early '80s, which was huge and everything.
Right.
What are some of the the memories that you have? I mean, coming through, because that's a great start, great story to where you are right now.
Yeah. So a lot of my memories are of like MTV. Because MTV came out, right around that time, and I remember Extreme was on. They did something. Mama Don't Want to Go to School, and it was part of a basement. I can't remember, basement tapes thing where they sent in a video to hopefully get it played, and they did. So Extreme, Van Halen, 1984,
Right.
Kiss. All of my memories. Black and Blue, Ron Keel.
Great guy. Great
Yeah,
guy.
he's a good dude, man.
He really is. Yep.
He opened up for him and Iron Horse in Flagler Beach, Florida, many years ago.
That's cool.
And Ron, what a sweetheart of a guy. And I text back and forth with him today. He's just a good dude, and what a voice.
He is.
And still carrying that torch.
He is.
I saw a video of him in Colombia here recently, and I got chills from the song that they were doing. I think it was it Tears
Here's a fire.
Yes, it was.
Yep.
He was doing that song. The crowd was singing, and then they did the Right to Rock, and it's that thing. Reggie and I have had this thing before on stage too. The crowd was singing it louder than he was, and I saw him turn to his guitar player. The guitar player turned to him, and they both had that. They didn't say anything, but they didn't have to. It's like this is so damn cool. And
Right.
I got that feeling. And I got chills when I was watching that. So cool. Anyway, going off on a tangent, I'm sorry.
No, no, no.
Those are the memories I have. So everything right around that time, when I first started getting into music, and then MTV comes out, all these cool videos, the great music of that time kind of formed who I am today. I carried that all through my life.
Right.
The music that's on Envy is that music from 1984. It's that feel, that mood.
Right.
Um, everything about that time formed who I am today, musically and personally, I guess.
Yeah, it was a great time. I mean, obviously, and you said it with this album too. It's a feel good record.
Yeah.
It's a great listen all the way through. It captures all those times and everything.
You know, our job as musicians is to release a product that when people are driving down the road, they're bopping their heads, or they're in their house and they're doing their chores or whatever, and they're bopping their heads and they're forgetting about everything. Just like I say this all the time, my job as a front man is to make you forget about anything that's going on in your life bad, whether it's bills, health is bad. My job is to make you forget about any and all of that for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 45 minutes, however long we're together. If you're not smiling when you leave the show, I've not done my job.
That's right. That's a great way to look at it. And I thought about that, listening to this one too, because I got the headphones on. That's the way I like to listen. And
So cool.
when I'm working and I'm like this,
Love it.
listening through. It's a great album, and it's great to hear.
Thank you.
How all this came together.
Thank you.
How about you as a vocalist? What are some of your influences? But what's an influence that would surprise us of somebody that you listen to? Maybe it's like, wow, that's whether it be a different genre or something. Who would surprise us?
So I don't consider myself, this is a confession, I don't consider myself a true singer. I consider myself more of a performer and a front man who just happens to sing a little bit. I don't think that I'm that great of a vocal. I am no Scott Lord. I can promise you that. He's I would love to sing like him. I can't do it.
He's amazing. You sound great though, man.
Well, thank you. I
Don't sell
appreciate
yourself
that.
short.
Well, thank you. My wife tells me the same thing, but I just so I love Paul Stanley's vocal. It's just a unique voice. Axl Rose, unique voice.
Right.
Bret Michaels has a unique voice. It's more in tune with my voice.
Right.
It's a cool voice. Boy, I don't know who I would say to surprise you. I like so many. I mean, I really do. I like so many bands and so many singers. I would love to sing like Jeff Tate, Scott Lord, those
Amazing.
guys. I never will. There's some great. I'm just glad that I don't scream, growl, scream, that type of stuff. It's more melodic. It's lower register. So I'm still learning to stay in my lane. And I will deviate from my lane, and my voice will go and I just get right back in line and stay where I am and shake my ass a little bit. Hopefully that will get it by.
That gets them growing. That gets them rolling.
Yeah.
You mentioned Bret Michaels too, and I think obviously Paul Stanley. I mean, those guys that you mentioned are such great performers, and you don't hear them, especially Paul Stanley, considered one of the great vocal guys. But the guy is so soulful.
Oh my God!
And so much of everything, and I hear a lot of all the mixture in this album, and obviously when you did Look What the Cat Dragged In.
Yeah.
Tell us about, behind what's the story behind you guys doing that? And I think that's a great song. That's one of my favorites, obviously.
Is it really?
My first album, yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, so cool. Thank you. Honestly, I've been doing this song since it came out. When we were playing shows in Indianapolis as Mr. Nice Guy is what we were called at that point, or Lust.
Nice.
It's kind of a jumbled mess of stuff there, but we were doing that song. I think I probably have video of us doing it in Indianapolis, but I've just always loved the feel of that song, the attitude of that song. I've done it in every band that I've been in Indianapolis, in Daytona, in Florida. No matter where I'm at, I've played that song. And Reggie and I were like, we should probably throw a cover on here. And it was so simple. It had to be that one. And, it's a great song live. Everybody loves it live. We love performing it. And it was the proper cover for Envy, for sure.
Agree. It fits in so well. I mean, all the songs, obviously it's a seamless transition all the way through.
Cool.
I think that's what's so great about this album.
That's awesome.
We talked about, a lot of things right now, in this interview, and it's always great to hear those stories and all that stuff. What about, you as obviously you say, you're more performer than a vocalist.
Yeah.
What are some of the things you do to keep your chops up? I mean, is it, I've heard guys, they drink tea. Then I've heard guys that just drink straight up whiskey and they don't even care or never even train anything.
Yep.
What's it like for you?
So I don't drink. I don't smoke. I've never done a drug in my life.
Right. Me either.
So, on stage, I actually probably do what's the worst thing for you. I drink carbonated like Pepsi or Coke with a lot of ice. So I'll have a giant thing of ice with some Coke in it, and I just chew on the ice to almost to freeze my vocal cords. And I don't know whether that's good or bad. It's just what I've done for my whole life. But I don't do any la 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 la, and maybe that's why I'm, who I am. But I don't do any of that stuff. I get on and I just go. So I don't do anything special, and maybe I should, but I don't. I haven't, and a lot of it is time. My time. If I was just doing this and playing on stage 45, I would probably have the time and would want to do that. But right now, I just don't. It's hard finding the time to do what I do. So that's it.
I think everybody's voice is different. Obviously, they're different, but that's the uniqueness of it.
Right.
So I would tell you just keep doing what you're doing.
For sure.
Because I think it sounds great. I mean, there's no use interrupting the the talent that's here.
Well, thank you,
What
man.
you
I
guys are
appreciate
doing.
that. Well, I will tell you this. I rely heavily on Reggie, Mark. Kevin the drummer. So I guess I should announce, the band. Reg Monsanto is a guitar player. He's my partner that I've been writing and playing in bands with for 30 years. Great singer on his own. Better singer than I am, for sure. And he's my Richie Sambora. So,
I was just going to say that, right.
Yep, he and I are like that. Mark McManus is another vocalist. So we have 4, sometimes 5-part harmonies when we do shows. So it's myself, Reggie, Mark McManus, Kevin Smith, and John Bigwood, and on bass. And it's neat. I'm finding that I don't have to carry a full load, because if I'm off a little bit, Reggie's got it. If I'm off a little bit, Kevin's got it. And so I'm very fortunate to be in the position I'm in. And my other thing with my singing is I do so much bouncing around, and I'm finding myself as I'm getting up in age that I'll get winded a little bit more. So I'm trying to slow down, but when I get out there and I'm entertaining people, it's hard for me to slow down. So
I'm sure.
Anyway, I'm fortunate. I'm not going to worry about changing anything that I do vocally. It is what it is. I'm good with it. Rock on.
Yeah, I say stick with it, man.
Thank you.
And kudos to the band too. You mentioned all these guys, and if the guys are listening, when they listen to this interview, you guys did a great job here. I mean, like you talked about the 5-part harmonies and being able. That's nice to have that type of musician behind you.
It
to
is.
be able to do the different things that you need to do with some of these songs, and you guys nailed it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You really did. So, John, what about the remainder of 2024? for Nickoloff? What do you guys have planned? What can we look forward to?
So we're always writing. So we're gonna be writing for the next Kibble Records release, which John and I are speaking about, which will probably come in 2025.
Nice.
We'll be playing the rest of the year out shows wise. We have a couple of shows, but we've got an original show booked in Vieira, Florida, which is Melbourne area, just south of Daytona. We're doing a show with a band called Gray. It's called Vieira Rock Fest or MTI Rock Fest.
Nice.
So there'll be a big stage, and we'll be, playing last on that. It's going to be a great show, big stage, big lights, big crowd. And then we're actually going up to Ladson, South Carolina, and we're doing something with the Rock Altar. We're going to do the Toys for Tots with them on November the 23rd. Yeah, so that'll be our first trip to South Carolina as this band. So we're excited about that. And, we're talking about trying to do some overseas stuff. And I really think that we would go huge overseas.
I agree.
So, yeah. So, I mean, do you find that overseas has a better reception for our type of music over there than
It
here?
really does. It really
Yeah.
does. All the people that I talk to and the ones that I deal with different things, it really is. And because it almost seems like like the US, that they still follow it heavily over there.
Right.
And it's like they never, separated themselves from it. And us, it's almost like, we don't even know what to do anymore. It's a shame.
It is. It really is.
It'd be a shame.
It really is. So we've got that. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background right now with Envy. I think that we're getting ready to kick off some promotional side of stuff.
Nice.
But there's, again, we're writing, looking to play shows. If you have any place there you want us to play, let me know. We'll come there. Let John know. Kibble will take care of it, and we'll go there and play. I'd love to come there and play for you guys.
For sure, man. We'd love to have you. You'll get the promotion on this end too.
Absolutely.
There's
That's
no doubt.
appreciated. I love
That's
that.
a guarantee, man.
I love it.
So how about any last words, John, for the fans? Anything that you want to get out to any of us?
Yeah, I
All
want
of us.
to say thank you to all of you. Your show is fantastic. The service that you
Thank you.
do for all of the bands. I don't know if you get thanked enough for that, but it's appreciated. This interview is going to go out to such a wide variety of people that I would never be able to reach on my own, and I thank you for that. I thank you for putting our songs out there. Yeah, and yeah, you deserve it. It's cool. I thank all of the fans, all of our friends and our families for supporting us throughout this. I thank Kibble Records and all of our label mates who are fantastic bands, and from what I hear, fantastic people.
Sure.
We've been very fortunate to write some really good songs, to record some really good songs, work with some really great people, and meet some even better people. So we want to get out there and meet everybody and entertain everybody. And if you want us to come to your town, find Kibble Records, let us know. We'll come there and play for you, and you will have a good damn time.
I told Scott the same thing. I said I'd love to see you guys. If that would be a tag team show, I would definitely be there. I might even sleep at the venue.
Oh, really? Oh, that'd be great. Dude, hey, do you have the ability to do a live stream?
I could, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'd love to.
We'll talk. We'll talk, because I would love that. That'd be fantastic. Yeah, those guys are great. I think we are doing that show with them in November because they're part of that as well. So that'll be our first foray with them. It's going to be a great show, and I would love to do a lot more with them and a lot more with you as well.
Absolutely. You have an open door here, my friend. There's no doubt about it.
Thank you
and
so
John,
much.
in closing, I want to say, obviously you gave me the thanks, but I want to give you the thanks for doing what you do, man, because it's such a huge part of my life, and it's I'm so passionate about it, but you guys doing what you do and delivering us this great art, man, I can't tell you, because it makes the bad days better and the good days great. And it's music, and it's what you do, man. Thank you so much.
You got me right here, and that's no joke, man. That's no joke. Thank you.
I feel the same way, man. So everybody that's listening, let's get this up here. That's a crazy. It's
There it
tough
is.
when you see it on my screen. There it is.
Yeah, I see it.
But Nickoloff Envy, this is a great album on Kibble Records. There it is. He's got it right there. You got the sealed copy.
Yeah.
I
I'm afraid to open it.
know I'll tell you what, when you open it, there's some goodness inside. It's like a great candy.
Thank
You
you.
open that up and it's there, man. But
I love that.
everybody,
that.
Kibble Records, Nickoloff Envy, John Nickoloff, I want to thank you for being on the show, man. Talking
Thank
to
you.
Fast Lane. And everybody that's listening, we'll be rocking to this for a while. So get to listening. There's
Love
no
it.
doubt about it.
Thank you all so much.
Thanks, John.
Thanks,
Have
John.
a great night, and thanks for being a part of Talking to Fastlane, man. Great to
You
have
too,
you.
man. Take care of yourself.
Take care. You too. You too.